Hi everyone, this is Lisa from Simply Anxious, and I did say that I was going to invite people to come and do some talks with us. I just want to share the different things that are available to you if you do suffer with anxiety, because for me, originally it was just going to the doctor, which was really helpful, but it was doctor medication and go away and get on with it. And I always used to think, well, what's the matter with me? Why has this happened? And there's got to be a reason for it. So anyway, along my travels, I came across Lou. So today we're talking to Lou Matson, and she's a spiritual lady. I can't tell you what her official title is, because I can't say it. But I brought Lou in today just to explain about some of the things she's done with me with regards to anxiety, and also what she offers. And she's actually suffered herself, so she really knows how bad it can feel. So welcome, Lou.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
So if you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do and
Okay.
what your title is, your official title.
Well, to be honest, titles, labels, what are they really? They're just, connected with that kind of low vibrational aspect of ourselves, our ego. So what I'm a channel, and I have been my whole life. So what that means is that I channel messages and energy healing through my physical form from energy beings of extremely high frequencies. So angels, archangels, galactic beings, dragons, anything higher vibrationally, coming with the energy of divine love, integrity, with our greatest and highest good. That's who I channel. So my, simply like, official title is an intuitive channel, conscious channel. And I prefer to say that I'm a conduit for energy healing, because I put on my website and things that I'm an energy healer, because people kind of understand that a little bit more. But I don't actually do the healing. I channel the healing through me. And I facilitate, I give space to the energy healing work to take place. And so it felt better to say that I was a conduit for energy healing. But I'm also a spiritual guide and mentor. I also kind of coach people. And part of that can be done through card readings, as you've experienced yourself, or, just on one-to-one sessions where I kind of coach people and channel messages through for them as well.
Great, thanks. So obviously, for a normal person, whatever a normal person is, you're kind of woo-woo is the word. I know when I first met you, I was very skeptical. I didn't really know a lot about it. I thought that people who read cards or kind of channeled, I think people think it's the spirits, but channel whatever through them are people that you pay, I don't know, 15 quid at a fairground to go and have your future read. So when I came across you and we started talking about anxiety, it was the interest I had almost immediately in how you totally related to how I felt, and started explaining about the chakras, how your body cannot be aligned properly and how that can impact. And so it wasn't this kind of woo-woo, oh my God, this is totally out my depth, your head's going to start spinning round person. It was something that really resonated with me and kind of made a lot of sense, because I always felt that underneath the anxiety was me, but I didn't actually know what I was. But I knew that I didn't like this turbulence that was going on. It was kind of like I wanted to get through it. I wanted to get rid of it.
Mm.
I didn't understand why it happened, and because I was never like that. And so the kind of information that you shared with me and the insight that I got from you was, we are more than just our physical being. You
Yeah.
know, we are a soul, or we are whatever you want to call it. And so that's why I came to you.
Mm. It's actually really, really fundamental, that understanding that everything is energy. Um, Fundamental to our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. To understand ourselves as so much more than this physical form. I mean, my whole life, I came in, I was born knowing that we are so much more than this physical form. I came in being able to feel people's energy fields, being able to feel people's emotional pain. And it's really when we begin to understand ourselves as more than this physical being, more than the roles that we play, more than the labels which I talked about at the beginning. All my titles, they're just labels that we attach ourselves to. When we understand that we're so much more than that, that's when we start that healing journey, and that we can actually connect to the truth of who we truly are. And actually anxiety and the other sort of under the label of mental health issues is really just a symptom of that dissonance, that discord between our true selves, and where we're currently at. So if we have placed all of our attachments to a role that we play, or our physical identity, or something similar to that, something within this, what I call the third dimensional reality, which is the densest reality, lowest frequency reality, which is where our physical body exists in.
Or a person, for example.
Yeah, or a person. Then if anything changes in that, we've basically given all our power to that aspect. So whether it's our role, our job, whether it's our physical body and how we look, whether it's another person, a loved one, if something changes and that job goes or changes, we might get downgraded, which has happened to me in my employed experience. um, we lose relationships, we fall in and out of love with people, or they do with us, or people pass on, they die. Then all of a sudden, all your energy has been placed into this thing, all your power has been given to this thing. You've got such an attachment to this object that when it changes, when something happens to it, then you take that as a direct kind of effect on you, which is where the discord occurs. And all these symptoms start to come up, and we think, well, where on earth did they come from? I never felt like this before. For me, it was, I was living out of my truth. I was living an unhappy life. I was in an abusive relationship, in a job I hated, where the boss completely disrespected me, and actually would not acknowledge my existence, let alone praise me for the work that I did. There was lots and lots of things about my life. I didn't have a great relationship with my family, that made me very, very unhappy. But the other thing is that quite often we numb ourselves to protect ourselves. We don't want to feel the emotions that are actually truly flowing through us. We're trained and taught not to be angry. We're trained and taught not to show our emotions. Big girls don't cry and all of that kind of thing. And so,
or big boys.
No, exactly. So you've lived a life where we've subconsciously been trained with all these different beliefs and everything to be a certain way, and that if we go against that, that's not acceptable, that's not right. But actually the truth of who we are is we're energy, and energy flows.
Yeah.
Energy moves constantly. Change is the only constant. So if you're suppressing and repressing emotions, which I was, or if you've attached your identity to a particular role, or a particular relationship, or whatever, and suddenly something changes within that. And for me, I fell down the stairs and was tetraplegic. Now, thankfully, I was tetraplegic for a very short period of time because it was a nudge from the universe to say, get back on track, wake up to the truth of who you are.
Yeah.
You're living a life of misery, and you want to get back on your soul path, your true path. Everything changed in that moment, and I suffered with extreme panic attacks, agoraphobia. I couldn't leave the house, and at one point I couldn't even leave my bedroom. I was convinced they were going to lock me up and take my child away. I never saw a way out. I couldn't see beyond this space that I was in, but I knew deep within me that this wasn't my truth. And that experience, it really jolted me. It created this symptom of anxiety because my mind was trying to make sense of everything and all these changes and adjustments, and it was basically freaking out. But my soul was pulling me on a different path. So anxiety for me is very much, it's a red flag. We've ignored all the subtle messages that our
Yeah.
soul has been giving us for years, months, weeks prior. And we've continued along this path of misery that's completely off course as to where our soul wants us to be and intended to be in this lifetime. And it's like, okay, one, I'm going to give you this massive red flag that you can no longer ignore. Or two, I'm going to give you these opportunities, these experiences, so that actually you can see and have this awareness of where there is this discord, this dissonance within the harmony of your energy field. And then do the work, do the healing work to bring yourself back into balance, basically.
I think that's brilliant the way you explain that, because I know with us, I had all these beliefs, and you picked up on that. I had all these beliefs that I was, I don't know, not good enough, and I was a bit of an imposter. Maybe I'd fail, maybe I'd do this, I should have, I could have, what if? And when you said to me that, actually, Lisa, those are beliefs, but are they yours? Did you create those beliefs, or did you pick them up along the way? And I had a really good upbringing, sort of family life, but it was very strict, and I was the only sort of female, so I had 3 alpha males in my family. Ow, my dog's just bit my hand. Sorry. I had 3 alpha males, and then it was always, be quiet. You're a girl, you should be seen and not heard. And then I kind of went into relationships where I should be seen and not heard. And then I went into a career of you can't be yourself. You have to be this carbon cutout of a whatever it is career that I opted into as a senior manager. So you started to point me in the direction that actually I've never been me. I've been what everyone else wanted me to be. And so then I could see clearly that it's kind of, I've had a great life, but I've had panic attacks and anxiety on top of it, which I would have preferred not to. But I could see now, of course it impacted me, and of course it produced all this anxiety because I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being my true self. I was being what I thought everyone else wanted me to be. So that was really, really interesting.
And to be honest, most people are living that life.
Yeah.
How many people, honestly, really radically honestly, how many people out there are living a life solely based on what they choose, what they desire? Because society, the culture we're born into, our parents, the schooling, and I don't judge any of it, because they were taught that from their parents and going back generations and generations. We're all kind of programmed. We've got these automatic programs running in our system that say that we have to behave a certain way. And you know, how many people actually can stand there 100% and say, I know what my truth is?
Yeah.
Not, you know, I would say less
No.
than 3% of the whole population of this planet. And those 3% are the people that are kind of on the awakening process as to who they truly are and have done the work of unraveling all of
Yeah.
these automatic programs. So, you know, we all start somewhere, and there is no judgment whatsoever in where or how old or whatever, you know, what point in our life we're at. The thing is, when we start to shift our perspective on what is going on in our life, you know, who we are, you know, especially around anxiety or depression, and we stop connecting with that as an identity. You know, these are just all things that, you know, like the world is a stage and everybody's a player on it, and these are just aspects that I'm playing this role of this at this moment. This is not me. You know, who is the thinker of my thoughts? I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. I'm the consciousness behind that.
And that takes time. I'll be honest, because at the beginning, I mean, I've read Eckhart Tolle, I think that's how you pronounce it, his books, and Michael Singer, and The Untethered Soul, and I kind of thought, yeah, but I didn't know why I was saying yeah. And then every
Mhm.
time I pick the book up and read a bit further, or read it again, something would resonate further. But it was actually talking with you on the woo woo level that explained it much clearer, and it made a lot of sense because, like you say, I think a lot of people don't realize, but we go through life playing roles: the
Mhm.
role of a child, the role of a student, the role of a mother, the role of a father, the role of a boyfriend, the role of a girlfriend. Then you're a wife. Then you're a, when it's like, hang on a minute, who am I?
Mhm.
I'm playing all these roles,
Mhm.
and you can still do those roles, but it's got to be better to do those roles as you,
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
do,
absolutely. I mean,
I've got to be a good wife, I've got
yeah.
to make him happy, I've got to, and those are the things that go through your head.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's about kind of wearing masks. We've all worn masks,
Yeah.
you know, and in each different situation, we've put a different mask on to fit that narrative, to fit that situation. So this role of mother has this mask, this role of daughter has this mask, this role of senior manager has this mask. And you know, all those behaviors and, you know, ways of being that are associated with that mask go into that, and that's how you then are in that moment, but it's not your truth. You know, I wasn't living my truth as a senior manager. I wasn't living my truth previously as a daughter, as a mother, in all those different roles. I was living what I thought and grew up to believe people wanted me to be. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a point in my life where somebody asked me my name and I turned around and said, what do you want it to be? That was how far I'd gone in
Wow.
terms of denying my truth, denying my true identity as, you know, so much more than this physical incarnation. And that really struck me. And that happened when I was in I think I must have been about 14, but it didn't strike me to the point where I was willing to do anything about it at that point, because my soul chose a journey of disempowerment, standing in my sovereignty, and I had a long way to go to
Like,
disempower myself
yeah.
before I was done, you know. But it was an interesting thing to reflect back on, you know, how much we actually deny our truth. I mean,
Yeah.
when my dad died 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that was my dark night of the soul, and that was my massive
what
awakening
what
point,
do you mean by that? You don't.
where everything crumbles, everything falls apart. I mean, you know, the fall down the stairs was also a dark night of the soul, because, you know, everything started disintegrating. I could see the illusion, as it were. I could see that I was living untruths in
Yeah.
relation to what my deep feeling and knowing to be my truth was. And so when my dad died, I suddenly realized I had no idea who I was. because my whole life I'd been living for other people.
Yeah.
And that was the reason that we call that kind of an event a dark night of the soul is because it's kind of like the dark bit before the dawn. You know,
Right.
it's like that point before the awakening.
It's like the wake up call.
Yeah, yeah, it's you go to your depths, you know, you hit rock bottom. And I did, you know, I literally, I was like, I have no idea who I am. If anybody had asked me what my favorite color was, I wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah.
Because I was so used to saying, well, what do you want? What do you want? You know, and trying to fit in, you know, fitting in.
I think with anxiety, it was because I saw it from my diagnosis as something that I would have for the rest of my life because that's what I was told, and I wasn't told about, you know, emotions and about beliefs, and I had none of this knowledge at all. And so I kind of went round in a circle. So I'd have really bad anxiety. I'd find a way to cope with it, whether it's self-medicating, whether it was going back to the gym, whether it was what, and then it would burn out. So I thought that my avoidance behaviour was clearing my anxiety. So then my anxiety would go, and but I wasn't going there, and there, and I was doing this, and this, and but I didn't have anxiety, so I felt great. But then, boom, it would happen again.
Mm.
And so the world starts to get smaller, smaller, smaller. And I just thought there's something I'm missing here. There's absolutely something I'm missing because, yeah, it's good to do these things to help manage it when you are going through it because it is really scary. But I started to realize that it went on its own. But what was keeping it coming back? And that was because I still had the beliefs. I still had the beliefs. I still had the patterns that I was following. And so it was after spending some time with you that you helped me. Well, you taught me what looking inside meant because people used to say that to me, and I'd think, I've got no idea what you're talking about. How do you look inside, you know? And it was really, so you gave me that guidance, which really helped. And then I was able to sort of break it down with your help,
Mm.
and see it clearly. And that gave me then the ammunition to, well, not the ammunition, but the evidence that, wow, I can see why it happened. I can see it so clearly.
Yeah.
So can you just sort of say what you think your anxiety, not your anxiety, your gift actually does to help people?
Well, do you mind if I share a bit about your healing journey as well, in terms of the energy work that I did at the start?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I mean, like I say, one of the things that I've done and have always been since childhood, you know, my earliest memories, I used to place my hands on people and take their pain away. Um, but one of the things that I did initially with you was to do some energy work, which was um, when I did that, the realization that actually you were completely disconnected. Like your energy field had a complete kind of disconnect from one half to the other. So
Yeah, you said I was split in half.
yeah, there was no flow, there was no connection. So, you know, one of the aspects of understanding ourselves as more than this physical form is that actually, you know, we're like we're a toroidal field, we're like a donut. So we've got this channel, you know, a ring donut, not a jammy one. We've got this this channel going through the middle of us, and so we're connected to source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. They're only words, doesn't matter. And then connected to the earth that we're incarnated on. Okay, so the energy field goes through, but yours had a complete separation between the two. So the first thing for your journey was actually to put you back together energetically. And, you know, my work, the way I work is, you know, a lot of people will go into past life regressions and take people back, but I'm like, what is the past is the past. And I see no reason to take people back into the past to relive that again. It's just about clearing the energy of that and doing the healing around it. We don't need to embroil ourselves in previous stuff. We
No.
just need to heal it and let it go. And so basically for me it was putting your energy field back together so that actually your energy could flow. um, and we are so powerful that we have the ability to do all kinds of things to our energy field. And one of the key things with kind of depression and anxiety is that we don't want to feel the pain.
No,
And therefore we shut off.
that's the main thing. I want rid.
So we shut down. And in your case, you literally separated, you disconnected completely because you numbed yourself completely. You didn't want to feel. So the first thing was putting the energy field back together. And so that is generally where I start, because without your energy field being whole and capable of functioning efficiently and correctly, then, there's no point in doing anything else because the energy is just not going to flow.
Yeah.
Once your energy field is in a state of wholeness, and that's not to say that it's going to be healthy, it's just able to be in wholeness and flow, then it's about teaching and guiding people to understand themselves more. And you talked to me briefly about the chakras. So understanding that you've got energy centers, understanding what those energy centers are, what they relate to on all aspects of our being, and understanding that, ideally we have this channel where the energy just flows freely through.
Yeah.
But, when we don't want to experience something, we can block that energy flow. So it's giving the responsibility back. I mean, the work that I do with people is all about empowering you.
Yeah.
Empowering you to be your own healer.
I mean, from my experience with you, it isn't a quick fix. It's none of these, and that's what I like about it, because when I'm promised it's a quick fix, it never works for me. And then I walk away thinking, oh, it's me. Why is it me? But with you, it was just a case of, it was more like being educated in how the whole body is, not just the physical side of it, and how powerful actually the emotional side is, which I know is because anxiety comes from an emotion, fear. And that can totally floor you, which it has over and over again with me. So this is why what you have done with me has really resonated.
I mean, the thing for me is to get people to a point where they feel strong enough, because this is really how we overcome the need for this red flag to be there, to be strong enough to live in their truth.
Yeah.
To live in resonance with their truth, regardless of what society might say, your parents might say, your partner, your neighbors, it may mean changing your job. It may mean changing the relationships or changing the behaviors within the relationships, which then may have a knock-on effect. But it's about standing in your sovereignty, standing in your truth.
Yeah.
And allowing your emotions to flow and feeling them, fully experiencing them. And then if anybody has done CBT, that's basically what CBT teaches you.
Yeah.
Rather than distracting yourself when you get an anxiety attack and taking your mind somewhere else to take yourself out of that, actually going, okay, come on, then bring it on.
Yeah.
Do this.
And that's the only way through.
Yeah, it's the only way, because it's energy. That's all it is. Yeah. Energy wants to flow. And so many techniques of dealing with anxiety is to block it, is to stop it, is to make it go away. Well, the only way that's going to happen is if you let the energy flow. Yeah. Why do we get anxious? Because we're not living our truth. If you live your truth, there's no reason for you to have that symptom, that experience in your life.
I just want to jump in there that anxiety is there for a reason, and it's a reason that we very rarely need it to be used. And that is, if we actually say we're running across the road and a car comes, it gets you out of the way. That is the response system. But when it gets out of hand, it's this, I believe it's an alarm system. Something's not right. Something's not right here. Sit back, take stock, and you can't get rid of anxiety because, well, you can't get rid of the fight or flight, but you can, you need to let it flow. So if it comes through you, let it come through you and let it go.
The thing is, that's exactly what it is. It's a flight or fight mechanism. You know, it's a hormonal, physical response reaction
Yeah.
to feed your muscles so that you can either fight a situation or you can get the hell out of it. But
Yeah.
how many, I mean, the thing is that the life that we're currently leading, where the majority of people are out of resonance with their soul wants and what their heart is calling and pulling them to do, out of resonance with being in that place of grace and love themselves, let alone anybody else,
Yeah.
means that you're experiencing that fight or flight in situations that, well, you never should experience that. You know, for me, suppressing my anger, never allowing myself to be angry, never allowing that emotion to be expressed, meant that I have this pool of energy just stored up within me. And so, you know, my body, because I was so out of resonance, used that energy to go,
Yeah.
hello, you know, are you going to do something about this? It's just a nudge. It's just a flag to say there is something you need to look inside yourself because something is not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that wants to come through about the beliefs, the automatic beliefs that we have, you know, the fight and flight mechanism was generated because, you know, back in the day when we first incarnated, you know, we had creatures that would kill us. You know, we were hunter gatherers, and you got yourself in a situation you needed to be able to get yourself out of that situation. But equally, a lot of the beliefs and things that we have, they're not just generated from this lifetime, our parents, our school, and all of that. These are automatic programs that are deeply ingrained within our DNA, like fitting in, need to fit in. Why is that so strong in people?
Yeah.
Because back in the day when we were living in caves and small tribes, you needed to be in a tribe to survive. You needed to have that group to be safe. You needed some people to go out and catch the food for you and things
Yeah.
like that. You couldn't survive on your own. Nowadays, that's not the case. You know, we can quite happily survive and be an individual. We don't need to that degree to fit in. And yet that program is running really strongly within us. We
Yeah.
don't need to get away from the, you know, the lion or whatever that we're trying to hunt down, or, you know, whatever situation that's threatening to our life. But that program is running so strongly in our system and our lifestyle, and we're so out of resonance that, you know, the fact that our boss has given us more work to do, or, you know, we're not praised at work, or, you know, we're made to feel really rubbish in our relationship, will trigger that response. And it's completely out of kilter because the energy that is connected to these programs is so strong, because we have built our identity around that which we believe to be the truth, rather than connecting with what really is our truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm convinced, because I've felt the impact of having a few sessions with you, and yeah, in addition to that, it kind of does empower you. It empowered me to not feel. I don't like saying feel the fear and do it anyway, but actually getting to know those feelings, getting to know that anxiety, and sort of weakening the strength of it, the strength that it had over me. And also taking my power back on things. So saying no when I used to say yes all the time.
Yeah.
And all those things. So it definitely guided me in the right direction. Um, so if anyone who's listening, how can they get hold of you? I'll put your link underneath this video. But
Okay, so
what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to be in person, do you? You don't have to.
no. I mean, to be honest, the most of the time I work over Zoom. I work online with people because I work with people all over the world. So you don't have to be in this country, in the UK. You can be anywhere in the world, as long as you've got internet connection. And basically, I work with people one to one, and I work with people, and through I've also done like a group program on kind of basic energy hygiene, because once we understand ourselves as more than this physical form, and we're actually consciously cleansing our field of all that no longer serves us, and grounding our energy, because again, anxiety very much is connected to people who are not grounded to the earth's energy. They get very overwhelmed with all the energies because there's nowhere to channel it through. Remember that donut, that ring donut, we've got to be connected with the above and the below. And setting healthy boundaries, and that's what that program, that group program, is all about. And so that was previously a Facebook program. We're just going to turn it into a self worked through program online. I'm in the process of doing that at the minute, but you can reach me through my website, loumatson.com. You can reach me through Facebook, Lou Matson Intuitive Energy Healer, I think.
Yeah.
And so you can just.
And you've also got a YouTube channel, haven't you? That you interested in free information. So
so I've got a YouTube channel. I actually, on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, I constantly give loads of free stuff. Basically, when I'm inspired to share something, I share it. So and if it just helps one person out there, then it's worth it. So I do videos called Morning Musings with particular topics that want to come through, and I do blog posts and things like that. So my YouTube channel is also Lou Matson, I think. So if you just type in Lou Matson on Facebook or YouTube, you'll probably get me. And my picture is on both. So, if this does go out as a video, people kind of see who I am, and they'll know that they're in the right place. But so I mean, on my webpage, because the way I work is I like to know that that I'm the right fit for somebody, because not everybody's going to connect with how I work and things like that. And that's one of the things that I will say as well. If you're reading a book, and when we're desperate, when we're in that kind of really extreme moment, we're just seeking help. We're just wanting. We just want the answers, But if you're reading books, if you're going to people, and what they're saying doesn't resonate, it just doesn't connect with you, that's okay. They're just not for you. That message is coming through them in a way that doesn't resonate with your frequency. So just, the right person will come. And then equally, if you're reading a book and there's a little bit in the book that really resonates, and you go, oh, wow, yeah, it's like a lightning bolt. And yet the rest of the book is like, meh, that's okay. The only bit that you really needed was that bit. So it's okay. You don't have to. The other thing that we tend to do, the people who experience anxiety and depression and things like that, is we give our power away all the time. We say to some, a healer, oh, you're going to heal me. No, there is no healer in the world that can heal you. They can create the space, and they can bring through the energetic key codes that unlock the wisdom in you. You're the ones that heal you. People guide you on that journey. And so, feeling with your heart what feels right, what feels light, and what doesn't, that is one of the first key steps to connecting with your truth. So, if my stuff resonates, go on my website. There's a 15-minute consultation, free consultation, because I like to connect with people, because I like to know that it's a right fit and I can actually assist them in some way. I don't want them to spend money and then I get in a session and go, nothing's coming from you.
I think as well what you touched on is it doesn't matter if it doesn't resonate, because I think that I was guilty of that, of the, oh my God, it worked for them, why not me? And then obviously being an anxious person, it escalates into, oh, well, it must be me. It must be me. It's working for everyone else. But that's not the case. Everyone's journey is unique, and everyone's recovery is unique. Um, and you can recover, and
Absolutely.
it's yeah, take. I think by taking ownership of it and taking your power back and saying this is my bloody anxiety, it's my journey to recovery. I'm going to do it my way. Is really empowering, rather than sort of textbooking. Oh, I'll do it because they did it. Just go with what you really feel inside, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I
So
mean, basically, the journey that I assist people on is finding that perfect way for them.
yeah,
I've got
but
a whole
that's the only
toolkit.
way I think it works.
Well, it's the only
If
thing
you
that
got to
can
go
work
right.
because each journey is individual.
Yeah,
Source might inspire 5 different people, and that with exactly the same message, and yet they'll come out with a slightly different version of it
yeah,
because we're all individual. Yes, our individual divine signature energetically is from the same place, but we are flavored, colored through all of our experiences over however many lifetimes. We have an own individuated divine spark,
yeah,
which means that our journeys might be similar. They might have similar themes, but they're never ever exactly the same. So you cannot go and get the supermarket, right, I'll take one of those, thank you very much. You have
no,
to have the Woolworths pick and mix. I'll
yeah,
have a bit of this, I'll have a bit of that.
yeah. Well, Lou, thank you ever so much. I'm sure people will be really interested in hearing the other side of things with regards to anxiety, because anxiety is, well, it's the widest spread. I make it sound like a disease, but it's an epidemic basically in the world. I know that it is the the most popular mental health condition, which is not popular, but most people suffer, and that makes me think because it is quite normal, and because now we're in a society that is super fast and we forget about ourselves and we've got all these roles to play and everything's like up in the air and it's boom. So that's why it's kind of looking like an epidemic. So it's people like you who kind of bring it back down to earth and sort of help show exactly what it is and the type of things that you can do. So I'm just really grateful that you gave us your time.
It's my
And
pleasure.
anything else you want to say?
Just that, I mean, one of the things that I didn't touch on, because for some people it is going to be a bit much, is the reason why anxiety and depression and all these things seem like an epidemic at this moment in time is because in this recent history, the energies that are hitting the planet from source through the central sun,
From the universe. Yeah.
yeah, from the universe, are so strong because we are being called. We are all, everybody on this planet at this moment in time is being called to actually connect with their truth, which is why we're feeling that disharmony, that dis-ease. And in some people that shows up as anxiety, and some it will show up as depression, and some it will show up as a physical
That
symptom.
that is deep, isn't it?
It is deep, and it may
For
be a bit
people
too deep for people, but you know
like me.
that's why we have this epidemic, because we are actually we're being called to be our true selves and live a life that we want to live, we choose to live.
Well, I'm excited about living my true self. I'm still got things to do and work in progress, but it's like a weight off my shoulders, and knowing that happiness lies within.
Yeah.
So you may get a bit excited if you get that perfect partner or that really nice car or that, but they're all temporary. They're all temporary feelings of happiness, and what's important is that happy with yourself, and I'm getting there. So thank you for your contribution to helping me get there. And yeah, and thanks for staying.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, that is where the work is, in here. Nothing outside of you. You don't need anything outside of you. Nothing in the external world can give you that joy. It's all, getting it
Yeah,
from inside yourself. But yeah, no, it's my pleasure.
brilliant.
Thank you for having
Okay, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
me. Okay.
Bye, bye, everyone.
Bye.